We're back, and you're listening to Executive Leaders Radio, broadcast from the Fairfax County Chamber of Commerce. This is your host, Mike Mannion, with Sirius Interim Executive Solutions, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, David Taylor of Buchanan, Ingersoll & Rooney, and Michael Ankuma of the Bank of America. And I'm thrilled to introduce to you our next guest, Craig Cummings. Craig is the Chief Operating Officer and co-owner of BTS. Welcome, Craig. And what is BTS?
Thanks, Mike. BTS is Battlefield Telecommunications Systems.
And what does that mean?
We are a small veteran-owned small business that develops cellular solutions to deploy on the battlefield.
Yeah, and we're going to get to what that means in a moment, but not so small. You guys are growing rapidly. You were founded when?
We were founded in October of 2008.
Okay, not that long ago.
Not that long ago.
And how many people do you have?
We are at 70 full-time, about another 20 part-time, with 20 vacancies.
Yeah, so you are growing like wildfire.
It's been a ride.
Tell us what battlefield telecommunication systems are and what do you do with them?
Okay. We, at our core, we are able to take a cellular network and put it in a small box. So imagine a cell tower you would see driving home tonight. We put all that functionality into a box about the size of a cigar box. And what we can do then is create a bubble around that box and install it in military vehicles, in airships, on towers, and we can put cellular networks wherever you need them.
That's unbelievable. So we've got people in the audience who right now have loved ones on the battlefield. Mm-hmm. In what way can they feel more comfortable that their loved ones are not in as harm of a way as they were without you?
It's a great question, Mike. We improve the way soldiers communicate in very austere conditions. Right now,
meaning the desert or something?
The desert, Afghanistan's mountains, wherever it is, and there's nothing more important than communications on the battlefield. And today, the military is still using, though there's been advancements, the same communications technology that was used in the Vietnam War, and that is primarily push-to-talk radios.
Yeah.
You know, Michael, this is Craig, over. And they don't have all of the secret sauce, if you will, of an Android phone or an iPhone. And that is what we're bringing to the battlefield, and it's going to have a huge effect.
So in many ways, you've enabled these folks, their loved ones, to take a 50-year technological leap forward in a very brief period of time to be safer and more effective.
That's right. And it isn't so much that we are doing this, we are bringing commercial technology. So we are militarizing cellular technology.
Very important work. Thank you so much for doing it.
What is your military background and what led you to take this leap forward?
I come from a military family. My father was a career Air Force officer of 26 years. Both of my brothers went to West Point. I went to West Point. And I served 17 years in the United States Army as an intelligence officer. So that the small footnote there is that I decided late in the career, at the 17th year mark, 3 years from my retirement, to get out to give this idea a shot.
Yeah, let's make sure everyone understands that. What do you not get at year 17 that you would have gotten if you just stayed 3 more years?
Well, as your listeners, and you probably know, you get a lifetime pension. And if you do 20 years, so beginning in year 21 and for the rest of your life, you get what is tantamount to about half of your pay when you're active duty, and that is what I walked away from.
So why could you not wait 3 more years?
You know, it's all timing, right? I suspect all the business leaders that sit in this room say that, and we needed to do something now about this challenge of communications on the battlefield. And I never felt sort of tied to the retirement. I felt tied to the mission that I was performing in support of our Army. Yeah. And even though I left, I'm still with the same people. I'm still serving the United States Army. So it wasn't as big a leap as it may have sounded like.
That commitment to forego what was evidently what most people would stick with, was that something you learned? Is it innate? Did you pick that up from any experiences, any influences that drove you to be that way?
The military teaches you to have confidence and to make bold decisions and to believe in yourself. And I believed that I could be successful on the outside, and I didn't need that pension financially to be successful and to care for my family.
In the green room, you said, and I quote, you wanted your hand on the needle. What does that mean? Hand on the needle.
I knew as I was thinking about this that I wanted to be part of a small company that every day I could influence the direction of the company. And I was fortunate to have a great partner, Sean Lane. And he and I, every day, either it's his hand or it's my hand or it's our collective hand, moving the company in the direction we know it needs to go to be successful. And you don't necessarily get that opportunity in an organization as large as the United States Army.
You know, I'm going to connect a couple dots here. You could have waited 3 years and done this, but you didn't. And in the green room, you talked about there being 5 30-second moments that changed your life. So my sense is you value time and you don't waste it.
I do.
So tell us about one of those 30-second moments that changed your life.
All right, well, I'll shift gears here a little bit and go personal and talk about how I met my wife, and I'll try to do so quickly. But
take your time.
I was at West Point, she was at Tulane, and we won the scholarship called the Truman Scholarship, which is for graduate studies similar to the Rhodes and the Marshall scholarships. We met, really sort of had a great connection, and then we found out that we both had significant others in our lives.
Dating.
At that point, we sort of went our separate ways, and about 36 hours later, it was midnight, the night before the conference ended. I kid you not. We were on this small campus where all the scholarship winners were, and we crossed paths at midnight on top of a hill under a full moon, and we started talking. We talked till 6 in the morning, fell in love, got engaged a month later, married a year later, and that was 18 years ago.
Wow.
So, you know, it's just, I follow my gut. When I believe in something, I close the deal.
Wow.
And we couldn't be any happier.
Yeah.
No.
Talk about filling up your gas tank.
I was planning to resign from the Army as a captain, and that was in part because my wife had been waiting to go to law school.
What's your wife's name?
Lawton Cummings.
Lawton.
Yeah. Interesting story there that Lawton's great-great-grandfather founded Lawton, Oklahoma, which is home to field artillery of the United States Army, though she had no connection to the military until we met. And I was planning to resign from the Army and try my hand at law or business, and I went to West Point to visit one of my brothers who was on the faculty there. And on a Sunday morning, I went to fill up my gas tank. I go inside to pay, and as I'm paying the cashier, I run into one of my former professors when I was a cadet at West Point. And he said, "Craig, we're looking forward to having you join us on the faculty of the Department of Social Sciences at West Point, known as SOCH in our circles." And I said, "Sir, I would love to join you, but Lawton has to go to law school, and I just don't think we're going to be able to make the military and the law work together." And he said, "Craig, we're going to help you do that." And he helped get me to Fort Meade, to the NSA. My wife went to Georgetown Law School. I stayed in. I then went on to Columbia to earn a PhD and teach on the faculty at West Point, per what he wanted me to do. And I went in for another 13 years of service in the United States Army, learning more about the battlefield, communications, and intelligence, and it set the conditions for what I'm doing today. So again, if I'd hit a red light on the way to the gas station, I wouldn't have seen him.
Amazing.
And I took off. We left West Point.
Give us one more about the necklace.
I had just this was 2 years ago, and I'd recently, 2 weeks earlier, left the Army, and it was an exciting time because I knew I was about to start up and bring in cellular to the battlefield. And it was a Sunday morning. It was Easter morning, and my wife had a piece of jewelry on the floor outside our bedroom, she never drops jewelry on the ground. She's, takes perfect accountability of our jewelry. And it was a cross, and I picked it up and I had it in my hand, and it was right then she said, "Craig, come here. I just found a lump on my breast." And that was the moment she discovered breast cancer. We confirmed it a few days later, and she had a double mastectomy 3 weeks later. And so here I am doing a startup, leaving the Army at the 17-year mark, and my wife is in the most intense chemotherapy regimen available to the cancer community. And the 30-second moment to bring it back was just, and you'll hear this, and I'm sure you've heard from other cancer patients, but that so quickly changes your perspective on everything in that moment. And it definitely has changed me as a business person.
How so?
I care about success in the business, but I'm one of those people that believes there's enough success to go around. I'm, competitive with myself, but I deeply care about the relationships and people, and I always want to do right by the people, by the business, by the nation.
Yeah.
And so it has given me perspective to sort of always, you may miss out on an opportunity, but I still have my health.
Yeah.
My family still loves me, and it definitely balanced me a lot, and I think it allowed me to connect. At the end of the day, just to close out, it allows you to open yourself up a whole bunch more to people, and I think opening yourself up more to people helps business when you have that sort of transparency.
Wow. Would you please give us the web address for BTS, Craig?
Sure, Mike. It's www.unleashbts.com.
Okay, I want to make sure everybody gets that.
Yeah.
What is it?
Unleash BTS, UNLEASH BTS. Our motto is Unleash the Future.
Fantastic. We've been speaking with Craig Cummings. Craig is the co-owner and chief operating officer of BTS. I'd like to thank my co-hosts, Michael Nkuma of Bank of America and David Taylor of Buchanan, Ingersoll & Rooney, for helping me with the interview. Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.executiveleadersradio.com to learn more about our executive leaders, and we will be right back in a moment after this important business spotlight.